afternoon, professors. We are Team 2 and we'll be talking about our IoT presentation. Next. So this is the agenda for today. Next. So for the problem statement, by 2030, that 25% of Singaporeans are predicted to be over 65 years old. This means an estimated of 150,000 will potentially develop dementia. Next. So 60% are at risk of getting lost as dementia progresses, and this is why there's an increased need to enable healthy aging and enhance safety of the elderly. Next. So the current solutions, the government is developing elderly-focused estates such as the Kampong Admiralty and the Heart of UT, as well as pilots of elderly monitoring systems. Next. So this is our proposed solution, indoor localization system called Elderly Tracking and Monitoring System, which will be directly integrated with elderly-focused housing estates. I'll now be passing my time on to Ashley.
Thank you, Joshua. I'll now be talking about the project overview for the main features. So we will have near real-time tracking of the elderly within the housing estates, and we have direct integration within the elderly-focused housing estates. Next, we also have some geofencing capabilities so that will be sent to the caregivers when the elderly are away. We also have some deployment in resource-constrained environments, and we have encrypted communications for security. Next. So here are the benefits from our features. We will have enhanced tracking and monitoring of the elderly, the direct integration with elderly-focused housing estates. This will give better peace of mind and assurance for caregivers who are taking care of the elderly. It will also facilitate swift and timely assistance for those elderly who are required, and we have less resource requirements. Next. So here are the components and technologies that we'll be using in our application. So LoRa will be mainly be doing message passing. Wi-Fi will be performing the indoor positioning and geofencing, and we have other features as well, such as API REST, Twilio for notifications, MongoDB to store data, and Flask for our web server. Thanks. So we'll be making use of the application and data layer, along with the data link layer and the physical layer. I'll now be passing my time to Peter to talk about the rest of the components and technologies.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. So for the components and technology, we chose the LoRa and Wi-Fi mainly on four factors. So firstly, for range, has a wide range from 2 to 5 km, making it suitable for inter-floor message passing. For Wi-Fi, we use it mainly for intra-flat and intra-floor positioning. And we purposely chose these two technologies for a bit of more extra range to accommodate potential interference and issues in the future. In terms of power consumption, both LoRa and Wi-Fi have pretty low power consumptions compared to GPS. Next, in terms of data rate and frequency, LoRa has a relatively low data rate. However, this is suitable for the simple message passing. And for Wi-Fi, it has pretty good data rate as well. However, both LoRa and Wi-Fi uses the same frequency band, but we have added mitigations including interrupt-based execution as well as using different channels on the 2.4 GHz band. Additionally, LoRa uses the CSS modulation, making it pretty robust to interference. So in terms of cost, both LoRa and Wi-Fi have moderate costs. However, the use of LoRa and pinless mesh ensures that there is only a need for one wireless access point, thus reducing the entire cost of the project. Now, these are the hardware and software that we'll be using, mainly LiGo and Firestick. And for software, we'll mainly be using Radio Lead for LoRa as well as pinless mesh. Now I'll pass my time to Dino.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So now I'll be talking about setting up the IoT devices. So setting up the IoT system involves a few components. The user pinless mesh nodes refer to M5 devices on elderlies. Secondary pinless mesh nodes refer to anchor nodes with coordinates, as well as mesh SSIDs specific to the floor defined. Secondary LoRa nodes refer to the main pinless mesh nodes that will be responsible for transmitting data upwards. And lastly, the transmitter LoRa node refers to the main LoRa node placed on the roof level that will be transmitting data through a post request. So for setting up the devices, the coordinates of secondary nodes relative to a floor is planned out first before flashing into the M5 devices. User nodes, main pinless mesh LiGo nodes, and main transmitter LiGo nodes are also flashed. So these devices are placed according to the planned layout, and the user node is assigned to elderlies. Next. So for connecting the devices to the IoT platform, so a typical two-room HDB flat is about 36 square meters to 45 square meters. For our proof of concept flat for testing, we have chosen a 100 square meter layout. We have also defined a POC layout consisting of 3 flats and a corridor as shown on the right. Next. The image shows how anchor nodes and main nodes are typically placed on the floor. Nodes on the floor communicate through a pinless mesh network with elderlies holding on to the tag nodes. Next. The image shows how LilyGo nodes are placed interfloors, and these nodes communicate through a LoRa message passing. The main LilyGo node at the top of level will be the only node in the system with Wi-Fi access, and it will be responsible for sending a post request to the Flask server. Next. So finally, this image shows the overall system architecture of the IoT system. So for our IoT in action, I'll pass to Colin.
Thank you, Lionel. This is the IoT in action. How the triangulation is done is that you retrieve the RSSI of other nodes and calculate the triangulation of its location. Pinless mesh used to format and pass the message to main node, which is the LilyGo. LoRa nodes would use the radio library to communicate to the main node at the top floor, which is the LilyGo that's connected with Wi-Fi. Finally, the top floor LilyGo calls the Flask RESTful API to post the data to MongoDB. Next, we will proceed to the demo.
The setup begins by flashing the LilyGo LoRa nodes. As well as flashing the M5 stick anchor and tags. We then move outside to set up the LoRa nodes. Along with the M5 stick anchors. We then move to the different flat rooms across the same floor to set up the remaining M5 stick anchors. The user walks out holding the M5 stick tag, which is being tracked. Its location will then be updated in real time on the web application.
In conclusion, it will be safe for the elderly. Caregivers are able to roughly know where the elderly are, and future improvement can be added like health monitoring, fall detection, and emergency response. Furthermore, this elderly monitoring system could extend to vulnerable population like disabled or children, and indoor tracking for pets or prisoners. Next, thank you.